Hey everybody, here we are back again, episode 11 of GreenBean's Jets Pod. I am dying out here in the Florida sun. It is about 93 degrees, and anyone who knows about Florida, it's not 93 degrees. It's just, that's the air temperature. The sun bakes you. I'm hiding in this little corner of the shade. I know it's cold elsewhere. It's an amazing thing with temperature, isn't it? It's like, anybody too cold is always like, envious of people that are hot. And then it goes 1 degree over what you like, and you're like, oh my God, it's so hot. I wish it was cooler. And then we put on the air conditioner and blow it all over us. We've become we're seekers of perfection, are we not, these days? But anywho, that's my current situation. But that all said, I am excited to be here. I can't wait to get into some stuff that I want to talk about with you guys today. Before we do that, I want to remind you, if you're watching this and you like what you hear, please give me a sub. That means subscribe on YouTube. It just takes a second, little red button, boop, and it's over. If you want to be reminded whenever we do a live stream or whenever we put out new content over here, hit the little bell. That'll put the notifications on for you. You can also follow me on Instagram, GreenBean'sFan, Twitter, Bean the Jets Fan, and you can follow my full-time coaster tour on YouTube as well. We just hit Animal Kingdom and Disney's Hollywood Studios with Star Wars Land and Avatar Land, and let me tell you, I have a lot of content coming out over there, and it was amazing. So that all behind us. Also, don't forget to go to Jetnation.com, where the Jets conversation literally never stops. So what's first on the docket today? We had a couple mock drafts come out this week. Now, for us, it's no big deal. We do mock drafts every other day. We do the 10 o'clock mock right here on this YouTube channel every Monday at 10 p.m. That is an absolute blast. A lot of guys come on there, and we have like a virtual war room, and we deconstruct every player and the trade values and all that kind of stuff. If you're looking to learn some things about mock drafts and player evaluations and all that, it's a good place to start. If you just want to have a good time, if you like that sort of thing, it's great to do that as well. But we had some of the more publicized mock drafts come out this week, and one being Mel Kyper. So let us take a look. This is Mel Kyper's second. They call it the Kiper 2.0. That's what this one is. It's his second mock draft, and he did a couple interesting things. Number one, instead of just picking at 2, he gave us a little bit of a trade back. We traded back to 4 with the Atlanta Falcons, which I think is a good move. He traded back to 4, and the value that he got it's an interesting value that he decided. He said that the Falcons would need to give up their second-round pick and more picks. I don't know what the hell that means. The second round pick is about $550. That's what it's worth on the draft value chart. We needed to get about 800 points to get up there, but as you know, when you're trading up in the first 5 picks for a quarterback, the draft value goes out the window. You have somewhat of a bidding war a lot of the time, and guys are wanting to get up there for either Justin Fields or Zach Wilson this year. So the value is going to be out. It's going to take more than likely next year's first, a second, and third this year, something like that. Maybe some extra Parmesan thrown on the top. Hey, something like that. So he had us trading back to 4 for at least a second-round pick and more stuff. These guys, we get real detailed. We tell you exactly down to the letter. These guys don't have to do that because he's Mel Kyper in the hair. So what does he do? He moves us back to 4, and he has us selecting an interesting pick, Kyle Pitts. Out of nowhere, we take a tight end. Now, what have I been telling you guys for the longest time? Tight end is more valuable than a lot of people give it credit for. We like to say that there are the premium picks, obviously quarterback, left tackle, you have edge rusher and cornerback, even wide receiver is considered a premium pick. Tight end gets pushed off to the side, but the truth is that if you have a good one, it can change everything. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Look at the San Francisco 49ers. And it just so happens a lot of the 49ers staff are our staff now. So they might just want to mimic, at least to some degree, the Kyle Shanahan offense, which has a prominent role for the tight end. So it does make sense. Now, you guys know I'm a big tight end nerd. I love my tight ends. I feel like the Jets have had a couple good ones. It comes from growing up with Mickey Schuler, who was one of my favorite players as a kid. Again, my friends, they would be like Wesley Walker or Al Toon or Freeman McNeil. Now, Freeman McNeil is my favorite Jets player, him and Gastineau of all time. You know, but people, they get more hubbub. And then Mickey Schuler was just quietly dominating out there, and he doesn't get all the hubbub. A lot of my friends back then when we were little, they didn't talk about Mickey Schuler. That was me. I'm like, what about Mickey Schuler? So we've had guys like Johnny Mitchell. We've had, Kyle Brady, which Kyle Brady. I'm just going to leave that one alone. But Dustin Keller was another really good one for us. And when you have a good one that is a real impact in the passing game, but can also block, it quite literally changes the offense, okay? Now, we don't have that player. We have Chris Herndon. A lot of people keep saying, Chris Herndon. I hear you. Who wouldn't want Chris Herndon to be a great Jets player? I'm right in there with you, but let's just back it up a second and take a look at what Chris Herndon has done. It's 2 ticks above nothing. He had 39 catches his rookie season after being injured. He didn't play every game his rookie season, so that's where it started. He had issues in college, which is why a talented guy like him slid to the 4th. His second year, he played less than 1 game with the suspension and the injuries. Okay, and last year let's call it what it is. He was hot garbage last year. He did end up rounding the corner at the end there and looked like he did some nice things, a couple touchdowns, a couple catches, but he didn't do anything to warrant not taking a tight end. But that all being said, as you know, I'm a tight end nerd, and I still wouldn't take Kyle Pitts at pick number 4. I think Kiper's out of his mind once again. Now, if Kyle Pitts is the target, which I'm fine with, taking him at 4 to me is a little bit silly. You back it up again. Quarterbacks were still on the board, and you slide back to 6. The Eagles maybe. I don't know how committed they are to Hurts. The value is to be able to maximize the pick, to maximize the value of having the 2nd overall pick. Sliding back to 4, if you're not choosing a quarterback, sliding back to 4 is not enough if the quarterbacks are still there. The Falcons jumped up for Zach Wilson, so that's Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. Miami took, Jamar Chase, I think it was, or Penei Sewell, one or the other. I forget what Kiper had. So then you're sitting there at 4. That means Justin Fields, Trey Lance, they're sitting there. You back up a little bit. I don't care if it's a 3rd-round pick. If you know the team trading up is going to take a quarterback, you know that the Cincinnati Bengals are not. You know what I mean? So that's what bothered me about it, not the pick of Kyle Pitts. But I want you guys to pay attention, man. The world is on to this guy. There are 2 tight ends in particular that have first round grades and value on them, and that's Kyle Pitts and Pat Freiermuth. I want you guys to know that if the Jets came away with either one, I would ultimately be happy. Taking them at 4 is a little bit nuts, even for tight end boy over here. Now, on the back end in pick 23, had us taking Kwity Paye, who's never going to be there at 23. He's just not, okay? He's not going to make it to 23. If he is and we take him, I'm totally happy about that. I would love Kwity Paye and Jet Green any day of the week. Now, just to remind you guys, this is actually an improvement for Kiper because in 1.0, he had us taking Devontae Smith at pick 2, which I think is berserk. Okay, who would do such a thing? Taking the lightest wide receiver in the draft at 2. If you're going to take a wide receiver at 2, if you're going to do that, which you shouldn't do it with this many quarterbacks there, you trade out, man. But if you're going to do that, it's Jamar Chase all day long. We're talking about, I saw a little article comparing him to Anquan Bolden. That's exactly how I see Jamar Chase. I like the way he plays. He's aggressive. Devontae Smith, as much as I like him, he makes me nervous at the top half of the first round. Yeah, just taking him at 2 is is a problem for me. So going from taking Smith at 2 to Pitts after a trade back, I think it's an improvement. We're not all the way there yet, Kiper, but I like so far the improvement. And then he had us taking J.C. Horn, which, interestingly enough, I don't know how this slipped by me, is the son of Joe Horn, the old wide receiver from the Saints. Remember that guy? He was good. So J.C. Horn is the son of Joe Horn. He had us taking him at pick 23. Again, I prefer edge being the focus over cornerback. When you take a cornerback without addressing the edge, if you have no edge rush and you're focusing on cornerbacks, all you're really doing is looking for guys who can run around and keep up with receivers a long time, because the quarterbacks are going to have all day long to throw the ball. Okay, you need a pass rush, especially with a 4-3. Okay, a 4-2-5 is what Saleh is looking like he might employ more than anything else. So you have 5 defensive backs running around out there, and they got to be able to stay with these guys all day long because you have no pass rush. So for me, you want to take a guy like Kwity Paye. You want to take a guy like Rousseau or any of these guys up there. There's a lot of them this year that I happen to like. Now, if you're going to take a cornerback, J.C. Horn is my kind of cornerback, 6'1". I like big cornerbacks. I like guys that can jump and move and all that. So I like Horn. But going from Smith at 2 and Horn at 23 to Kyle Pitts after a trade back to 4, gaining a second, a third, and maybe next year's first, and then Kwity Paye, that's the right way to do it. You get a wide receiver, you get a receiving threat that can also help with the blocking. Don't forget, Kyle Pitts put on 7 pounds this year and focused specifically on his blocking. Okay, that was his whole. He already knows that he can catch the ball. Kyle Pitts he's made up the way you want your football players to be made up. He's not just relying on his money. He's not just shaking his moneymaker, right? He's adding to the type of player that he is. Yes, I can catch the ball. He doesn't need to do anything else. He's that good of a receiving threat. He doesn't have to do anything else, but he's focusing on being a well-rounded player. He wants to actually do the things a tight end is supposed to do, not to be one-dimensional. So I love it. Now, the other one that came out was Daniel Jeremiah. Now, here's the funny thing about Daniel Jeremiah. Everybody likes to say he's Joe Douglas's best friend. He's Joe Douglas's best friend, so anything he says has more weight, right? Has more weight for the Jets because he knows Joe Douglas. Now, that might be true. I'm not saying it's not true. But I wonder, being such buddies with Joe Douglas, why the hell he would tip Joe Douglas's hand for everybody, right? He's going to say that I know his thinking. I would be more inclined to think that anything Daniel Jeremiah says is more likely to be the opposite of what Joe Douglas would do, trying to help his friend out. That's what I think. So, but anyway, Daniel Jeremiah had us sticking at 2, taking Zach Wilson. That's fine, right? I guess, if that's the guy you want. If that's the guy that Joe Douglas, Saleh, and LaFleur think is the best quarterback option for us, then do it. Do it. I'm fine. And then they went weird on me, and Daniel Jeremiah went wackadoodle, and he takes Ronnie Perkins at 23, the Oklahoma Sooner, with 5.5 sacks after a suspension for failing the drug test. So, I mean, look, I don't hold that against guys so much. Performing enhancing, I do, so I'm not really sure. From what I understand, it might have been marijuana. I don't know what to even say about that anymore, for God's sakes. It's like failing a test for, for beer. That's what it is. But it is what it is in this country, so who knows. But if it's performance enhancing, that's an issue, because you look at guys like Nathan Shepard was coming out of the woodwork being he's starting to have a little career developing there, and then he gets popped for PEDs. I wonder how much that was impacting the game. Don't forget, this stuff, it's a fine line between a really good football player and then a good football player in the NFL. And sometimes that little bit is needed. If they need that and then they get popped. So he has us taking Ronnie Perkins, who happens to be one of the pass rushers I like the least in the the top half of the pass rush batch for this year. Class, let's call them. Ronnie Perkins, yeah, he might be fine and all that, but he looks a little bit slow to me. He looks lumbering, and at 247 pounds, he shouldn't look that slow. He looks like he has a tough time transitioning, and he has a slow first step for me. He's strong, so he might be good. He might be the kind of guy they want to work with on the defensive end. But again, he's not the guy that I would choose at 23, which goes right in line with what I'm talking about. If Daniel Jeremiah says Joe Douglas is interested in Ronnie Perkins, and he knows that we are interested in the pass rusher, get everybody thinking that we're targeting Ronnie Perkins. Let somebody else take him, and then we'll go ahead and get the guy that we really want. Jalen Phillips has been on my radar of late. I actually watched a documentary on his struggles and everything. And, it's one of those things that sank in. I like guys that overcome adversity. I don't like that they experience adversity. I'm never rooting for anybody's life to be difficult. Never. At the same time, difficulties come, and it really does define the man, or, defines the player, let's say. Defines a human being. When adversity comes, how do they respond? And the documentary really painted him in a good light about what he's dealt with. And I love his build. And anyway, Jalen Phillips is really coming out of the dark for me, in addition to some other guys that I like. So I'd rather see them go that way. So we have these drafts. In my opinion, the drafts made by YouTubers and Instagram guys and all this sort of social media realm, the social media realm, to me, we blow those guys out of the water, man. I know they're putting it together. They have the same info, even more than we do. But to me, it just looks like they're either out of their minds, they're dumb, or they're just trying to piss us off. They're trying to rattle it up so we get talking, which makes a lot of sense to me. So it is what it is. How would you guys respond if Joe Douglas took Zach Wilson at 2 and then comes around at pick 23, doesn't go and get him a wide receiver, doesn't get him a tight end, doesn't grab an interior offensive lineman, and he grabs one of the lower-rated pass rushers? He goes defense, and then it's not even the guy. It's like the Raiders taking Cleveland Ferrell at 4. You know what I mean? So how would you guys feel about that? Me, personally, I'd be a little disappointed. Now, speaking of disappointment, let's transition right into another little subject I want to talk about. Let's get into Marcus Maye. Marcus Maye is interesting to me because, yes, we have this guy who he's a good ball player, right? We like him. We want to keep him. We've had all year to work out a contract extension with him. And here we are, and it's looking like the reports that came out this week are that the Jets are just going to franchise him because they haven't made any progress with a contract. So what I will ask is, what's the problem? What's the problem? Now, I want to remind you guys, I'm a Joe Douglas supporter. I like most of the things that he's done. I don't think he's perfect. I don't think that he's done everything the way I would do it, or the way that I think is best. There are some picks that made me scratch my head. There are some moves, some contracts, all those things. But overall, I think he's doing a damn good job. The best we've seen from a GM in a long time, if not ever. And I like him. And I trust him, okay? I trust him to make the right decisions for the most part. Now, the concern is we haven't really extended anybody of value long-term yet. Yes, he gave George Fant a nice contract. He did extend Poole and Jenkins and Hewitt, but these are one-year contracts. It's easy, you know what I mean? They weren't getting the offers they thought they would on the free agent market, and they said, hey, I'm interested in playing. He said, I'll give you $5 million or whatever it was. But it's nice and easy. Lickety-split. Bop, bop, bop. As far as long-term extensions of with a player of value for the Jets, we haven't seen it yet. And I'm wondering what the holdup is with Marcus Maye. Is he asking for 15 or something like that? Are we not offering him at least what the franchise tag is? Are we saying, so the franchise tag, if I remember correctly, is $10.5 million per year. So he'll get that no matter how you slice it. Or the Jets trying to say, hey, we'll give you $4 million at 9.7. And he's saying, screw you, I want at least a 10.5. What is it? What is it? Are we trying to lowball him like we did with Robbie Anderson? I'd hate to see anything negative come out of this. The franchise tag this is a normal thing. See, now the Jets don't see it often. The last time we saw it was with our kicker, Nick Folk, which is funny. It's funny. if you look at it the right way. The last guy we franchised was Nick Folk, our kicker. So I don't know what that means, but it's funny. So we have a guy, Marcus Maye, is the first guy that really deserves the franchise tag in however long, right? So yes, we could use it. It's not everybody. Most teams use the franchise tag every year, but it just raises the question: why not? Why haven't we locked up Marcus Maye? Does he not really want to lock him up? So what is it? So this is a concern for me. I'm keeping my eye on this one because I don't really know what the issue could be. Again, it's usually financial. Could it be some guarantees, things like that? I don't know, but it seems to me like, hey, man, sign him. Sign Marcus Maye. You've had all season to do it. We're not signing anybody else right now. It should be the main focus. You can get these things done in a week. Why? So I'm concerned. It's not ruining sleep or anything, guys. I want to make sure that I make that clear. It's not. I'm not overly concerned, but it's a. So again, this is an area that we haven't seen much success with Joe Douglas. The last guy who wanted a contract, we now have 2 first-round picks and a third that we're going to play with instead, which I think was the right move, and I'm happy about it. But again, it just begs to question, why aren't we seeing a guy like Marcus Maye locked up? What is it? And is this a trend? Are we going to have difficulty locking players up that we want to keep? So I'm really I'm interested in that one. So we'll see how it goes. What do you think? You think it's a problem? You think, hey, Green Bean, it's nothing. Don't sweat it. And I can see that too. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm genuinely curious and interested to hear what you guys think about this situation with Marcus Maye, the first guy. Maybe we just want to use the franchise tag to have fun with it. Maybe we haven't done it. Maybe that's what we're doing. Who knows? Now, the main topic of the week is going to be this. Get all that stuff out of the way. Kiper, Jeremiah, Marcus Maye, all that stuff. And we're going to talk about something that is absolutely blowing up the Jets world right now. Okay, now that is this. It's been this way the whole time. But as the Watson news kind of simmers, it's on the back burner. We're just keeping it warm right now, right? Like nobody knows what's going on. The report out of Houston is that they're not even picking up calls, which is just so dickish, isn't it? See how I searched? I want you to know, I was searching for a word that wasn't profane, and that's what I came up with. Dickish. So it's like Joe Douglas said. I was taught, I come from a place where we answer every call. Doesn't mean you have to accept the trade, but you answer every call. What we're hearing out of the Texans is not only have they pissed off their 2 most notable players in J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson. Let's not forget, Deshaun Watson's saying he doesn't want to play for the organization anymore. J.J. Watt did the same thing. He just had a $17 million contract. His play has been declining. With no guarantees, by the way, that $17 million contract. So he had the $17 mil. His play was declining, so they were happy to let him go because they're in the hole for the cap. They need to let some people go. 17 mil is a nice chunk of change that they recoup letting them walk, okay? So it seems like this amicable thing because they didn't put up a stink. But the truth is J.J. Watt said to them, I don't want to play here anymore. Now, what is going on down there? They're pissing off their star players. Okay, they traded away Deandre Hopkins for nothing, guys, nothing. All right, they gave him away. They go ahead and they blow the head coaching search and they hire Culley, who, for all intents and purposes, is a well-respected coach, position coach, and that kind of stuff. But he wasn't on everybody's list. Let's just say it like that. They came out and they hired this David Culley guy. And a GM from the Patriots who was not on anybody's list to be a GM. Okay, he comes from the Patriots. They're going to do things the Patriot way. We've heard that a million times now. It has not worked in any other place except New England with Bill Belichick. Everybody leaves there and tries to implement this Patriot way elsewhere. The most recent was Matt Patricia up in Detroit. It didn't work. And he's out of there in 10 minutes, it felt like. Patricia, he's gone. Okay, so it didn't work up there, and now they're up there biting everybody's kneecaps and everything. This is where that sent them. So we have the Texans now; they're not even answering calls. Who are these people? So the Deshaun Watson thing, it just seems like people are leaving voicemails. It seems like they don't know what they're doing, and when you're dealing with somebody like that, you're trying to talk logic to the illogical. It doesn't go anywhere. So are they really going to, because of stubborn pride, allow Deshaun Watson to pull a Le'Veon Bell and sit out the year? Is that what you're going to do? Is this where it is? So if it is, now that that's on the back burner, we're looking at these options, and we're looking at Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Mac Jones. You're hearing reports that people have Zach Wilson rated higher than Trevor Lawrence. No, they don't. Okay? I'm just going to tell you that right now. They don't. It's like sour grapes kind of a thing. Like, I never wanted Trevor Lawrence anyway. Zach Wilson's where the money. Yeah, okay. So that's what they're saying. We had all these reports going out. Justin Fields' star is falling. Zach Wilson's rising. Even Mac Jones is coming out from left field, and he's rising. And Trey Lance. What about this Trey Lance guy? So this is what goes on. But the Jets are sitting here with the number 2 overall pick, and it just so happens that 3 years ago we used the number 3 overall pick on a quarterback named Sam Darnold. So what's starting to bubble up is the exploration by guys who were absolutely rigid on needing to move on from Sam. Believe me, I'm seeing you. I see you guys. I see it. People starting to reconsider, saying, well, what if we do keep Sam? What does that look like? Rather than using this commodity, this second overall pick on question marks. Justin Fields has a rocket arm, very mobile, hard, work ethic. All the things are there, but there's the question mark about his ability to read going through his progressions without having that urgency to take off, okay? So teams are questioning that. Then you have Zach Wilson, who, hey, looks like he can play the part, but as has been said, he didn't play anybody. So, think about this. If you're the varsity team in high school and they bring over the varsity from Pee Wee, you know what I mean, like Pop Warner, PAL, you bring those kids over. They're the best in the state at their level, but they come in and they play the varsity seniors in high school. What's going to happen? They're going to kick the hell out of them. Okay? The quarterback's going to throw for 587 yards. So if your level of competition, people are trying to minimize this, and I understand why. They're still out there. They're still playing football. But if you're playing across the board a lower level of competition, that means that the stress upon the quarterback, the pass rush on the quarterback, it's not there. It's not the same. So you can't accurately value how he processes defenses because the pressure on him has not been there. It's been absent. So there are question marks with these guys, okay? And there are more for everyone. Trey Lance, he's only played a few games, right? So we don't really know what these guys have. So when you're looking at using this number 2 pick, this second overall pick on one of these guys, when you have a guy in the house, it's starting to creep into people's heads that it's not Sam Darnold versus Zach Wilson. It's not. It's Sam Darnold and the value of the trade back from the second overall pick. That's the equation. So let's say, for example, you have the second overall pick valued at 2,600 points. Let's say that the Atlanta Mel Kyper trade takes place and you get their second, which is pick 35. You get their third, which is pick 68. And you get next year's first. That brings you back to 4. They take Zach Wilson, for argument's sake. Miami Dolphins take Jamar Chase or Penei Sewell. So Justin Fields, Trey Lance, they're all still sitting there. Teams like the Eagles, maybe? Teams like Detroit, Carolina, they're going to be interested. Denver, the Niners, they're all going to be interested in coming up if they can, if it's realistic. You can't say, I want 5 firsts. You can't do that. You're at pick 4. You already gained a first for next year, an additional second, and an additional third this year. Okay? And then you slide back to let's say, Detroit. Okay? Pick 7. So they jump up. They take Justin Fields. They're going to let him sit behind Jared Goff for a year. So they're all set. You got Cincinnati. They take Penei Sewell. All right? If Miami does take Jamar Chase. Philadelphia takes Devontae Smith, okay? Then you're sitting there at 7, and then you take whoever the hell you want. Or you can trade back again. So do you see what I'm saying? Detroit, Detroit gives you their 2, they give you the other first-round picks. So now you have 3 first-round picks this year. You have 3 first-round picks next year. You got 2 seconds, 3 thirds. You see what I'm saying? So that is what is with Sam Darnold. That's with Sam Darnold. That's what he's bringing to the equation. So it's Sam Darnold, 2 additional firsts, 1 from Atlanta, 1 from Detroit, an additional second, and an additional third. So that's 5 premium picks and Sam Darnold. Is Sam Darnold and 5 premium picks worth more than Justin Fields, Zach Williams, Trey Lance, whatever? That's the equation. Okay? Now, this is if Deshaun Watson's out. Again, I already told you, my deal for Zach Wilson, or I'm crazy, for Deshaun Watson looks like this. The number 2 overall pick, Seattle's first next year, and a 3rd round pick. That's it. They don't want it, they can pound salt. Let them go to Miami. I don't care. Let them give them 4 firsts or 3 firsts and a second. Let them do it. And Tua, I don't care. Okay? I don't work like that. That's just not how I think. Of course I don't want him to go to Miami. But we're not going to hamstring ourselves taking away 3 of our 4 first-round picks that can build the team. Okay? The 2nd overall pick is not a normal first-round pick. It is 2 at minimum. If you start adding up, let's look at it. The pick 32, the last pick in the first round, is 590 points. The 2nd overall pick is 2,600 points. I'm not even good at math, but that looks like 4 firsts to me, 5, right? 2,000 is 4, Yeah, it's 4.5 firsts. So when you're talking about first-round picks, they are not equal, guys. Okay? They're not. And the idea that we're looking at this 2nd overall pick as if it's pick 25, it's not. As if it's pick 18, it's not. Even do that. So let's say pick 18. That's 900 points. Okay? So that's 3 of those, almost. It's 2 2/3 of one of those. So that's my deal. 2nd overall pick. Seattle's first next year, and we're good there. All right, what else do you want? You want John Franklin Myers? You want a 3rd round pick? Sure. But you're not getting 4 firsts out of me. You're not getting 3 firsts. If you want 3 firsts, then I keep the 2nd overall pick. Sure. Okay. I'll give you pick 23 and, Seattle's pick next year and then I'll pick the next. That's fine. But you're not getting both. Okay? So as I diatribe my way out of this one, if Deshaun Watson's not on the table for us, that's fine. Okay? You take the swing, man. Every day of the week, you take the swing. If the swing doesn't hit, that's fine. You leave him over there, and you look. Your equation looks like this. Do I like Justin Fields so much? Do I like Zach Wilson so much that it's going to override Sam Darnold, which is another first-round pick, by the way. Sam Darnold, 2 firsts, a 2nd, and a 3rd. Is Zach Wilson that good? Is he? I don't know. So that's the equation. Now, I will tell you this. Again, I trust Joe Douglas and staff to make the right call. I don't think that we need to entertain for 1 second that we are not the big boys in this conversation. Everybody's coming to us, and that includes the Texans. They can go screw. They're slapdick, okay? They don't know what's going on. They blew up a division champion for no reason. I don't know what it is, guys. If anybody knows why, what the logic was to blow that team up, exciting team, man. Deandre Hopkins is my favorite receiver in the entire NFL. I hate saying that, but he is. Hopefully Denzel Mims can take that from me. I want it. I want to love him. Okay, I do love him, but I want to like him more. DeAndre Hopkins, to me, is my favorite wide receiver in the NFL. When they traded him, period, I thought it was asinine. Why are they getting rid of him? Him and Watson are like the best. But then they did it for a second-round pick. Now J.J. Watt, the consummate professional, hardworking, blue-collar guy, team first, he's asking to leave. Deshaun Watson just signed a mega contract. He wants to leave. You hire Nick Caserio from the Patriots, and the best they could come up with is Culley for head coach? You're in the hole. You're in the cap hole. You have no first, no second round pick. Don't talk that way to us. That's what I'd be saying. Dude, I'm giving you an option. I'm giving you a lifeline. You don't want it? Good. Trade with the Miami Dolphins, and I'll trade with Detroit or Atlanta, whoever it is, and they're going to take your guy, and you're left with the third quarterback in the class. That's your big answer to losing Deshaun Watson. Good stuff, dude. So the Jets are in charge. Not only do we have the most respected staff that we've ever had outside of Bill Parcells. Okay, Bill Parcells, that staff was I can't even imagine that a staff like that existed. Bill Belichick, Romeo Crennel, Charlie Weiss, Maurice Carthon, Ron Earhart as a quarterback coach. Dude, Earhart was the quarterback coach. You know what I'm saying? And there were more guys on there. So that staff, come on, that's out of this world. But this staff, when you look at Joe Douglas, Phil Savage, Rex Hogan, Chad Alexander, Robert Saleh, LaFleur, Albrecht, the offensive line coach from the Niners, this is like one of the best guys in the league, okay? The fact that they guys, what is his name? Ben something. I'm just fried out. I'll put it up there. It'll go right now. Go boop. Ben Holland, I want to say. Am I right? Did I get it right? So we have the best staff that we've had in forever, respected universally. We have 2 first-round picks in this draft, 2 third-round picks in this draft. One of the first-round picks happens to be the second overall pick. The second round pick happens to be the second pick in that round. Again, the third round, same thing. We have 2 first-round picks next year. Okay? We are not in a pressure situation here. So if they decide we're going to keep Sam Darnold, everybody wants to give us a second, that doesn't quite match what we're trying to do. If we get a first for him, we'll consider it, blah, blah, blah. If that's what you want to do, you want to go to war with Sam Darnold and take the extra 2 firsts and second and third. And not for nothing, guys, you could get more than that. You can. I'm just giving you baseline. If you look at these trades in the past for the number 2 pick, 3 firsts just for the 1 trade. And you go back to 5, 6, 7, whatever it is. You could trade again if you want. And you could take Kyle Pitts. And you can take, Samuel Cosme if you want to put him behind. He's an elite right tackle, man. He's a right tackle, too. If you could take Rousseau. You can get anybody you want in that range. Kwity Paye's going to be there up there. You can do whatever you want up there. You get blue chippers, man, and still gain all those picks if you choose to stay with Sam Darnold. So that's the equation. I want to make sure that everybody looks at it that way. I'm not saying that's what I would do. I'm just saying it's not as cut and dry as Zach Wilson versus Sam Darnold, Justin Fields versus Sam Darnold. That's not true. Sam Darnold's bringing a whole bag of goodies to this party. So what would you do? Thinking about it this way, and let's just keep that as our baseline. Sam Darnold, we trade back once with Atlanta, once with the Detroit Lions. We gain a first next year. We gain a first this year. We gain a second-round pick and a third-round pick, and that's bottom. Okay, we're going to get more. Sam Darnold, a first next year, another first this year, which is, let's see what Detroit's, actually, the Detroit first would be next year as well. So you maintain 2 firsts this year. You got 7 and 23. And then you got 4 firsts next year. 4. You'll own that draft. So what would you do? Sam Darnold, 2 firsts, a second, and a third, or Zach Wilson, or Justin Fields, whoever you like. Let's take Deshaun Watson out of the game for a minute. Russell Wilson, yeah. I'm not even going to buy into that one for now, okay? Would I like it? Yeah. Yeah, I would. I would tell Seattle, I'll give you your 2 firsts back. That's it. You want your 2 firsts back? Sure. I'll give you that for Russell Wilson. Yeah, 2 firsts. What is it? People are nuts. 3, 4 firsts. You guys are crazy. I don't give 4 firsts for anyone, man. 3 firsts? You guys are crazy. Everybody's nuts. Everybody's out of their mind. So what do you guys think? Do you think we should consider keeping Sam Darnold? Do you think we should consider this? You think we should give him to LaFleur? You think we should take a few guys like Kyle Pitts, like Wyatt Davis, to bring in Joe Thuney and Allen Robinson? Give this guy a quarterback coach? What do you think? If we can't get Watson, do you think we should do it? You think we should consider this? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys in the mocks. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a great life. I hope everything is peaches and cream all over your head. That's what I want. I want peaches in your ears and cream in your eyes. Sorry the way that sounds. I didn't mean it that way. And everybody have a good day and go Jets.